Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, October 11th, 2024. NFL Week 6 is here. The MLB Divisional Series is coming to its conclusion. We've already got one team locked in for the NLCS in the New York Mets. We've got an international break in soccer, so we're going to take the week off from soccer. It's been crazy up to this point. Between the Premier League and the Champions League, it's been madness. We're just going to take the week off of soccer this week. No Premier League this weekend, no UCL games this week, nor next week. So we're going to take a step back, let soccer happen. Who knows? Maybe we'll come back to you next week and Eric Ten Hag will be fired. Who knows? Who knows at all?
Please.
It would be awesome if he was. I'm going to just go ahead and get this out of the way. I've switched up my camera angle. Also, I did put a candle on the table. It was cold this morning. It was 54 degrees when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
I was walking around the house in a hoodie and sweatpants.
Yeah, I went to class in a hoodie and shorts. It was awesome. It felt great all day long on campus, which any of y'all UGA listeners, if we even have any, y'all know how hot it is walking around in the springtime and in August. It's so bad. We have so many hills. It's horrible going around that campus when it's really hot. But this weather's been absolutely fantastic. I got the window open. You guys can't see, but my window is open.
Yeah,
getting that fall sounds, that fall breeze in. But yeah, it's been great, and I'm ready to jump into it. We got a lot to talk about. My Yankees are 2-1.
Yeah,
2-1 lead against the Royals. It's shaping up to be a good week.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We also have some headlines as well that I want to hit before we get into anything. But obviously, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, you got to make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. I don't know what you're doing if you're not. It's so easy. You click the button down there. And then if you want to take it a step further, I very much urge you to click to the right of that subscribe button after you've clicked it and turn on the post notification so you know whenever any videos come out. Because it might be a podcast episode Mondays and Fridays. They go live at 6 a.m. on YouTube. Or it could be the Second and Short College Football Show on a Thursday at 3 p.m., and who knows? Maybe the return of Premier League Team of the Months in a couple of weeks. I don't know. That's up to Luke. But there could always be a little surprise there on YouTube because I got to be honest, the College Football Show was a surprise to me, and I came up with the idea. So there's plenty of things. I know, like me, Nathan, and Colin had some conversations about some potential things that we might do for episode 200, because that will be a Monday episode coming up in less than a month, which also means the 2-year anniversary of Second and Short is coming up in less than a month, which is very exciting. We might see, we haven't even talked to Luke about this, so he's going to hear about this for the first time as well. Might see if we can reach out to Luke and maybe get all the boys in here for a little 2-year anniversary episode.
Yeah, it's been an awesome 2 years, man. I guess it's not time to reminisce now, but I'm proud that, I would just like to say I'm proud that we've been consistent.
Yeah.
The entire time, pretty much. Well, mainly you.
Thank you.
I mean, you've been the most consistent, but it's been, it is just a passion project, and we haven't necessarily blown up yet. I should say. But just the fact that we truly are not doing this for the views.
No.
It's at this point.
If we were, this would have been done a long time ago.
Exactly. But it's just been nice to have our own content for our own fields. We have work to show for the jobs that we're hunting for, which is really cool. But it's been an awesome 2 years.
Yeah. I've got a lot more I could say, but I'll save it for some of those reminiscing episodes. Nonetheless, thank you guys as well for being along for the ride. Thank you to Luke, obviously, for joining in so early on the train and riding it with me. So let's talk. Well, first of all, follow us on Instagram. I didn't get to that part. Follow us on Instagram. Keep up to date with everything we got going on. It's all here on the bottom row. Obviously, join the Second and Short subreddit, r/2ND, A&D short. Submit those questions by 4 p.m. on Thursdays. We will answer them on these episodes. So you're already late for this one. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in there. Also, if you want to ask college football questions, as long as you put them in there before, I'd probably say midday Tuesday, they might get answered on the College Football Show. But you guys got to start posting them before I'll start checking. All right. Yeah. Let's talk about old Robert Saleh getting fired by the New York Jets. This one happened early in the week, so We kind of missed it for Monday's episode, and it's just kind of floated around for a couple days. Well, now we're here. Robert Saleh was fired by the New York Jets. Defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich was promoted to interim head coach. I also feel weird. My laptop is over here, so I'm not looking at the camera. I'm not looking at Luke. It's just, I'm sorry. At a meeting on Tuesday morning, Robert Saleh informed the coaching staff that passing game coordinator Todd Downing would become the game day play caller, which would demote Nathaniel Hackett from play calling duties. He would obviously stay the offensive coordinator. Hackett wasn't being fired in the classical sense, but it was going to be Robert Saleh's decision on how this went. Well, right after this meeting, like I think they said 15 minutes after this meeting, Robert Saleh was taken into the owner's office, Woody Johnson, and fired. So nobody knows if that was just a coincidence or what, but that all goes down. He gets fired. They have to all say, Aaron Rodgers didn't have any input, blah, blah, blah. Even though Woody Johnson, oddly enough, admitted to speaking to Aaron Rodgers on Monday night, which is a crazy thing to do. Being like, oh, yeah, I spoke to Aaron on Monday night, but it wasn't about Robert Saleh, and then he gets fired the next morning? Okay, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
You lied.
Yeah, that's a lie. Rodgers definitely fired Robert Saleh, if I had to guess.
Yeah, just like he did Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. It's cyclical for this guy.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead.
Did you have more story to unpack there?
Not really. It's just kind of it's unclear whether that Hackett being demoted was a coincidence, especially because now we got the news that Jeff Ulbrich is also doing that. He's also demoting or taking away Nathaniel Hackett's play calling duties and giving them to Todd Downing. So I would assume that probably wasn't the domino that needed to fall.
Yeah, I just I don't know where you sit. I would say that the Jets handled this situation very poorly. Robert Saleh has shown, I would say that he has shown a true commitment to the Jets. I think he's probably been the most successful head coach they've had in the past couple of years. Now, do I agree with him getting fired? Yes. But the way that it happened was so bullshit.
Yes,
for Robert Saleh. You can't just have a guy come in and then fire him. Like, there has to be, like, I guess, more of a process. It feels like it was almost too rushed in a way. And Robert Saleh, personally, I think is the head coach that you finish the season with and fire him in the offseason. Not mid-season, especially week 5. I just, I don't know. I don't agree with the decision at all, to be honest with you. I like him getting fired, just not week 5.
Yeah, that okay. I can agree with that part. I do think it's a little bit early in the season to be making that big of a move because then you're just kind of stuck with an interim head coach for 11 games. So it's like you're in or 12 games. You're in like a tough spot for the rest of the season, especially if Jeff Ulbrich isn't a good interim head coach, and that could cause issues if he's taking up head coaching duties. Well, somebody's going to have to step up with his defensive coordinator duties. So it creates an odd power balance that you have to deal with now for 12 games, which isn't common. Like typically it'd be like 7 games you got to deal with it or whatever. And that's typically for a team that's really dead. This team's full of talent. And they're probably going to be looking to trade for players here in a couple weeks.
Exactly. And I think, to that point, though, being full of talent, Robert Saleh has not utilized any of that talent. No. Now, granted, a lot of that talent's been unhealthy. Never had it before, but that defense that they've had has been really built since Sauce Gardner's rookie year. And they don't look good. They have so many good players, but collectively, the Jets defense does not look good, in my opinion. And then on the offensive side, it's your first season with Aaron Rodgers, and you only get 5 games.
Yeah.
That
was unlucky, for sure. Because, look, Robert Saleh's job, as soon as he walked in the door, was clean up the mess that was made by Adam Gase. And that was a hell of a mess. So the fact that Saleh came in and didn't really make any strides forward was concerning, but it's also like, okay, well, you gave him Zach Wilson and told him, go win some games. And then you gave him Garrett Wilson, who was amazing in the offensive rookie of the year, and Sauce Gardner, who was the defensive rookie of the year in the same year. You gave them that, which is great. And then the next season, you get Aaron Rodgers, and it's supposed to be, all right, now Robert Saleh's got his guys. And then Rodgers gets hurt, and Saleh's just left to be swept under the rug once again. But nobody saw it as a hot seat yet because Rodgers was hurt. And look, the way that these games started, I definitely think a big part of it was coaching.
Yeah.
But it's also that your players were underperforming. Like, a lot of players on this team were underperforming. And that is a big part of it as well. I don't hate the fact that they fired Robert Saleh. I just don't think he's the guy that we had to point fingers at this early.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to the point of Garrett Wilson, him and Aaron Rodgers were definitely not on the same page, and I think that was a lot more Garrett Wilson than it was Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I think Robert Saleh also has kind of been screwed by expectation because he came out of the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree that is developed pretty well very quickly, and was supposed to be this great thing as a defensive coordinator coming out, and then he still had those expectations, and then they got worse because DeMeco Ryans went off, and in his first year after being the Niners DC, took his team to the AFC, not the championship game, but I guess the divisional round in the AFC. They won the AFC South. He was definitely one of the top coaches that season. I think he probably should have won Coach of the Year over Stefanski. He had C.J. Stroud step in and do amazing things, and a lot of young players and veteran players that we hadn't seen a lot out of. DeMeco Ryans pulled the best out of them. And he was what Robert Saleh was years ago. And I think that made it even worse for Saleh to see a guy who was in the exact same position go out and do it right.
Yeah.
So I think it was just unfair expectations. We'll stop harping on Saleh here. I want to talk about Jabril Peppers real quick. Bad guy. We'll go ahead and start off with that. He got arrested on Saturday morning, before the game, obviously a day before the game. He was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, strangulation, and possession of a Class B substance believed to be cocaine. Bad that I just sneezed. It's so bad that I just sneezed after saying cocaine. I'll put that out there.
For the rest of the podcast, watch Grayson.
Yeah. I'm going to now because I sneezed.
I mean, how else have we been this consistent for 2 years?
That's true. I don't know what it is. It's candles, actually. Candles and water. That's what I've been.
You know what?
I'm losing my mind, Luke. I want you to know that. I've been in this office since 10 a.m. It's 5 o'clock. I have not.
Oh, that candle and the lava lamp are going to start having beef. Dude, that candle's going to steal the thunder.
It might. This
candle. The mic picked up the noise.
I got this candle overnighted on Amazon.
Damn, it's urgent.
It got here at 6 this morning. An hour and a half later, I got up and I picked up that package. I brought it in here at 10 o'clock. It was burning from 10 till probably 3:30, and then I just lit it back up when we started.
It's gotten its work cut out for it today.
It's definitely it's high usage. No minutes restrictions here. But yeah, Jabril Peppers, bad guy, idiot as well.
Actually, first time I've heard about that. If I'm being completely honest, yeah, I did not know that he got arrested.
It did kind of get swept under the rug because I think it came out on Tuesday or Wednesday, and Robert Saleh was certainly stealing his thunder.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, what a shame. Come on, Jabril.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Just bad idea. I'll say it. I'll say it.
Yeah,
stupid thing to do. We aren't even going to talk about Colby Young either from UGA. I left that out of the college football show as well. I recorded a whole segment. Yeah. I didn't like the way that I worded some things. Cut that whole thing out. So Colby Young, bad guy as well. Horrible guy. All right.
What are we doing recruiting over here in Athens, man?
He was a transfer too from Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit more expected.
Unfortunately.
Sorry. All right. That's enough of the headlines. Let's go ahead and get into NFL Week 6. All right. We're starting off Thursday Night Football. Obviously, you guys already know what happened. 49ers, 3.5-point favorites on the road versus the Seahawks. This game just screams slugfest. 49ers defense has been bad. Seahawks defense certainly hasn't been all that great. We've seen both these offenses with the ability to play super well. Just both of them are also not playing good enough defense to keep them in games. Or at least they're losing them late. That's another big problem for both of these teams.
Yeah, I'm sensing a very physical game here. I don't really know what to say. I mean, you have the 49ers who are underperforming, and then the Seahawks who are kind of just really a hit or miss football team. I'm not really. I do not know what to expect out of this game, other than that it'll be physical.
Yeah. So. Well, you guys already know what happened, so I'm not really too worried about talking much about it. I'll give a score prediction. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for upsetting the 49ers 27-21.
27-21. I like that. I'm going to take the 49ers 21-17.
Okay.
Over Seattle.
Let's go over to London. Jaguars, Bears. Bears 2.5-point favorites. I guess they're both on the road. So Bears are technically the home team. I can't do it with these London games. I love that they're happening. The games just suck. Because last week, I don't know. I think me and Colin talked about it a little bit on Monday. Last week was such a perfect day scheduling wise. The schedule worked out so perfect last week, where the London game finished at 12:50. And we rolled right into the 1 o'clock games, which rolled right into the 4 o'clock games. And then those later starts for the 4 o'clock games ended up pushing us to about 7:30 or almost 8 o'clock. I think it was 7:45 when those games wrapped up. And then it was only 25, 30 minutes before Sunday Night Football. It was a dream schedule last week.
Yeah. You had the delay, though.
Yes.
In the Steelers game.
Yeah, that did kind of screw us a little bit. But everything else up until that weather delay was great. I got to be honest, I did not stay up for that one.
Yeah. I think you were right a couple weeks ago when you said that Caleb Williams just keeps improving. Last week we saw it. I mean, what a game. Yeah. Caleb Williams looks fine. Jacksonville doesn't. No. But, Jacksonville, this is a home game for them. A lot of London people like the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, I don't know. It's kind of feeling weird. Is Caleb Williams going to be affected by playing in Europe? Probably. I'm kind of thinking he will be. I don't know. The Bears just have to keep building on offense, and they need to get DeAndre Swift involved more in their game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Swift is a huge asset that they've just been kind of underusing. Not as much misusing, just not utilizing him nearly enough. I do think that Caleb did a good job last week of just hitting his target. That was something that we kind of saw issues with, and I think they've obviously got the defense to absolutely shut down the Jags, whether the offense shows up or not. I will say a big problem throughout these London games is injuries and the surface, because that bullshit turf that they throw down on top of Hotspur Stadium's grass is horrible.
Yeah, because you got to think it's like you mentioned, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium does have grass, so the turf that they're bringing in is probably the lowest tier that these athletes could be playing on, because it's not like the turf's already there to where you can prepare it and whatever. This is something that you're bringing over.
Yeah, nobody uses turf in England. You play on grass.
No, and these players would like to play on grass.
Yeah.
More so than they would turf. So, yeah, the surface over there is just, it's so bizarre. I don't know why they do that.
Agreed. I think this one's going to be a bit of a shit show, if I had to guess. I think most times offense kind of lacks when they tend to go to London. So, I'm going to go relatively low scoring. I'm going to take the Bears 17, Jags 3.
I'm going to take the Bears 16-10.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just super low on the Jags. I love Tank Bigsby. I think he was awesome last week. He was great. Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good for the first time this year. London is a whole nother beast when it comes to teams that you want to see play well.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it back to the 1 o'clock games, and we'll start off Cardinals-Packers. Packers 5-point favorite at home. Why do I kind of like this matchup?
I don't think that that's kind of an underrated take. I think this matchup is going to be pretty good.
Okay,
I really do.
Because like 5-point favorite seems excessive, but
very excessive.
I love watching James Conner right now.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you,
he's been so much fun to watch this season. Because, like, me and Colin talked about it on Monday, there were so many times in last week's game where, like, he turned a negative 2-yard play into a 1-yard play. And, like, that was fun to watch. Like, he makes that kind of stuff fun.
Yeah, like, people aren't giving him enough credit, but,
No.
like, even as a Steelers fan, I would say that he's gotten better with age. That never should happen with a running back. Yeah, James Conner just looks absolutely wicked, and I have loved watching his career flourish, and this season is just kind of a continuation, maybe even better than what he was last season.
Yeah, and also, like, Kyler Murray's not that bad either. Like, he did a great job last week. He had that, like, 55-yard rushing touchdown to start the game. Like, that's what I like to see out of Kyler. I want to see him be versatile. I don't want to see him throw, 25 passes and, like, go, like, 17 for 25, just throwing to Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. all the time. Like, I want to see him do shit. He's good at it.
Yeah, and I think what the Cardinals have also found, and this is something that I don't think anybody really expected, is like some of these other receivers like Michael Wilson and even Greg Dortch in some games have been able to step up and just kind of fill that void of not having another Marvin Harrison Jr., which has been really, really helpful for the Cardinals because I think we can kind of maybe pump the brakes on Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he might still need a little bit more time to develop, unlike guys like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., but these other like 2 and 3, they're like wide receiver 2 and 3s have been kind of the reason that their pass game has been like sustainable. I feel like so. Yeah, shout out to those guys.
Yeah, I think with this game, I'm interested to see what the Packers look like this time around. I think last week was a little bit weird, but this week seems better. At least it does on paper. Dubs is back from his stupid ass suspension.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then, Tucker Kraft is coming off an unbelievable game. Unbelievable game for Tucker Kraft that he's coming off of. He's finally somebody's deciding to be the tight end number 1 out of last year's draft class from the Packers. They drafted like 3 tight ends. They used all of them. And Luke Musgrave just can't stay on the field. So it's Tucker Kraft's job. And he's also a beast. And like, I still don't think Christian Watson's there. He's always hurt. So I don't know. And like Josh Jacobs has looked good at times, but sometimes it seems like they just don't give him enough volume when he is doing well. So I'm interested to see what the Packers come with this week because the Cardinals are a team that can score points. And the Packers are able to, they're more than capable of keeping up. It's just, let's see the defense step up a couple times because we know the Cardinals don't play good defense.
No, and that's, I think, going to be the biggest fault is if these Cardinals, if they just keep getting scored on by Green Bay, I feel like their offense would waver quicker than Green Bay's would. Like the Cardinals probably, they have a good offense, but I don't think they could ever catch up in a game. I can't really see them making any comebacks or, being able to continue scoring when your defense is getting whooped up on. And I feel like that's how the Cardinals would probably lose this game. I'm ready to give a score prediction, though, if you are.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Green Bay 27-20 over Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay 24-21.
Okay.
I think it'll be a pretty close game. Let's get to the next game, Colts-Titans. This game sucks. Titans 2.5 point favorite at home. But, man, I don't like this at all. Anthony Richardson's back. Will Levis might be hurt. I know he had some AC joint injury that he might have been dealing with. I don't know his status just yet. But certainly we're going to see some interceptions. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
If Levis and Richardson are out there, there's going to be some interceptions.
Oh, for sure.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, it's really backfired for Tennessee that none of these wide receivers can get going.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if it's necessarily down to just them, but I do think that they share some of the blame despite, kind of shaky quarterback play. And And they need to get at least one of these guys going to have a sustainable offense. Like, I don't know if Will Levis is maybe just having a hard time building a relationship with one of these guys, but just pick somebody. Pick D-Hop or, Calvin Ridley or Tyler Boyd. Like, get one of them just more involved into the game because, like, the spread offense that they're trying to run, like I'm looking at the box score from the Dolphins game, like everybody had like 1 receptions and they spread the ball around pretty well. But I think your offense would be better if most of the targets were going to just one guy.
I agree.
And that's kind of weird to say, but I feel like it'll help Will Levis get into a rhythm to where he can actually spread the ball around to other guys.
Yeah. Last week it was clear the job that Will Levis had when he started was throw to DeAndre Hopkins or hand the ball to Derrick Henry. That was his job at all times. This year, it seems like Brian Callahan is giving Will Levis the keys to this offense, and he's not ready for it at all. I think we all came into the season knowing, Will Levis might look good. But nobody thought Will Levis is surefire going to take over this team. That's not at all how I saw it. I don't think anybody else saw it that way. Yeah, I was pretty excited to see what Will Levis had to offer. Now I can see it wasn't much because this offense isn't geared towards his ability and he isn't making any changes. No. Like, he's still throwing desperation passes to try and make things happen because he's getting screwed over left and right.
Yeah, and I think what the Titans did well last game is, they had a quarterback go down, but you also ran the ball 40 times, and Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears ended up having a pretty, good games in between those two. So I think that's what you kind of gear your offense more towards. And then on the passing game, like I said previously, find a receiver to get the ball to.
Yeah.
Just one of those guys. So.
Yeah. I'm going to go score prediction. And I'm going to take the Colts just because you never know what you're going to get from Anthony Richardson. And I think we're going to get a couple 50-yard touchdowns probably, either on the ground or in the air. I'm going to take the Colts. I'm going to go Colts 17, Titans 13.
Okay, I'm going to take the Titans 23-17.
Okay.
Over Indianapolis. And I also have to go pee. I'm very sorry. I should have done that before.
Okay. We'll take a pause, a little pee break, and then we'll get back to it. All right. Urination has been completed by my counterpart here. So now let's talk Texans, 7-point favorites against the Patriots. No Nico Collins. He is now on the IR, which doesn't matter whatsoever in the outcome of this game because the Texans are still going to steamroll the Patriots.
Yeah, really, I feel like the Patriots, their whole offensive game plan, that kind of helps them win is if Ramondre has a good game, which is, 1 in a million.
Yeah, I will say Drake May is starting, which could make this fun. I don't think they'll win.
Not fun.
Yeah, I don't think they'll win, but it'll be something to watch.
It will be something to watch. I think all the Texans have to do is keep making Drake May throw the ball.
Yeah.
Make him as uncomfortable as possible. Definitely. And if you're the Texans, just honestly keep doing what you're doing. You have plenty other wide receivers to hit up, now that Nico Collins is gone. So maybe, who knows, we'll see potentially more of a spread. More guys kind of
I think we'll see a lot more Tank Dell than we've been seeing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I love Tank Dell.
Looking forward to that. It keeps going back to I'm honestly more and more mad as the season goes on that they have Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Because their wide receiver core last season was just so perfect. They had it all figured out.
Yeah, but they lost Noah Brown. They had to replace Noah Brown.
Well, we've still barely gotten to see John Mechie, I feel like.
Yeah, not much.
So not much of John Mechie.
Joe Mixon returned to practice today. He was limited, but we might get Joe Mixon back this week.
Yeah. Is there really anything else with this game?
A score prediction. I'm going to go Texans 31, Patriots 10.
I'm going to go Texans 24, Patriots 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Buccaneers, 3.5-point favorites on the road versus the Saints. The Bucs have been in New Orleans for the last week, I think. They evacuated for Hurricane Milton, the second wave of these hurricanes. That was literally heading straight for Tampa. And it did some destruction for sure. I'm sure everybody's seen the photos of Tropicana Field. Interested to see what happens with the Trop. I feel like we've been sitting here, twiddling our thumbs, waiting for them to change that stadium or build a new one. This is a pretty good excuse too. You're gonna get a nice insurance check coming in the mail.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. But I saw some video of Raymond James Stadium as well. Pretty well flooded. Like the whole field, pretty flooded. Which is horrible. And like my side of the family, like my family is from, like, my mom grew up in like a house like probably a mile from Raymond James Stadium. So luckily my family has moved out of Tampa. So they didn't have to worry about evacuating or anything. But still very scary. I know my family has a lot of family friends that still live in the area or have family in the area as well. So it was definitely a scary thing. I saw some horrifying pictures and videos from that.
Yeah. It's not been good.
No.
Not been good at all.
And obviously New Orleans welcomed the Buccaneers with open arms, considering they've been through it as well numerous times. So
they have.
Buccaneers definitely, you had Mike Evans come out and say that, Tampa's playing for something much bigger this week, and I think that is like enough to just get me going on the Buccaneers side. Saying that should have shifted the line like 3 more points. Like if Mike Evans is saying we're playing for something bigger, I'm gonna just go ahead and go with it because he's probably gonna have like 250 receiving yards.
And Marshawn Lattimore is going to fight him.
Yeah, so. It almost can't get bigger than Mike Evans. He's already giant. So if they're playing for something bigger than Mike Evans and bigger than, obviously a football game, I have to go with the Bucs. And also the Saints are starting Spencer Rattler because Derek Carr's hurt.
Yeah, which I mean that's going to be exciting. We'll see how that goes.
Maybe. Unless if we get Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma, go ahead and call it a day. That's Buccaneers by 30. If we get Spencer Rattler from high school, maybe he has a chance. He was really good in high school. He was also
really good in high school.
Also a huge dickhead. And if we get South Carolina Spencer Rattler, he'll lose because this is a good team that they're playing. So, I'm gonna just go ahead and give a score prediction. There's not much else to talk about with these two. Give me the Buccaneers. I'm going 28-20.
28-20. Let me get the Buccaneers 23-20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big one. Fuck Hurricane Milton. Okay.
And let's go Bucky Irving. Come on.
Yes, go Bucky Irving. How fitting is it for Bucky Irving to play for the Bucs? Nobody's really talking about that. All right, let's go to potentially the biggest beatdown of the week. Browns Eagles. Eagles 9.5-point favorites at the link. I say that it could be the biggest beatdown, but why do I feel like the Eagles aren't going to dominate this game? I know A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith came back to practice this week, but something about the Eagles just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like something about the Eagles hadn't made sense since probably the end of last season.
Probably before that, like halfway through last season. Ever since they beat the Bills last season, nothing has made sense.
Yeah, I know. And who knows? Like this Browns defense, I would say, is still kind of legit, especially with Myles Garrett coming back as well. And maybe. I don't know. I feel like a lot of it could be play calling for the Eagles. We kind of saw against the Saints where the Eagles probably could have steamrolled them, but you had a lot of like going for it on 4th down in their territory and just not getting it when you probably could have kicked a field goal. You're not really going to be able to play aggressive like that against this Cleveland defense. I think you got to be a little bit more conservative if you're going to win the game.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think Cleveland's offense is just so bad And I know the Philly defense has not been good, but they're just so inept, like, at everything right now for the Cleveland offense. Like, they cannot do anything right. Honestly, they can't.
No,
and
it's poor.
Yeah. And, like, the Eagles, I at least know that, like, because A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are coming back, the door opens more for Saquon. Because they can't just stack the box at all times and just be like, all right, we're stopping Saquon from going anywhere. So now you have to worry about everybody on the field, and that is a big asset for the Eagles, especially if Saquon gets going, which I expect him to, with the receivers coming back.
Yeah, 100%. I don't really have much else to add. You want to give a score prediction for this one? I'm going to take Philly 28-7.
I like that. I'm going to go Philly 21-6.
Okay.
All right. This one might be the game I'm most looking forward to this week. Commanders-Ravens. Ravens are a 6.5 point favorite at home. We're getting Lamar Jackson versus Jaden Daniels. And if I know anything, this is going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
Like,
probably.
From what we saw from the Ravens defense last week, they aren't going to stop Jaden Daniels. And with what we saw from the Commanders defense this season, they are not stopping the Ravens.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it's going to be a quarterback duel for sure. And it's really, it might come down to, who's not turning the ball over. Who's probably punting less, I would say. Yeah, I really think that those are probably the main factor would be who's not turning the ball over, I think, in this game. Because one turnover could be the deciding factor.
Yeah, and I don't want to... So I think it's weird that people are trying to compare these, or like find similarities between these two quarterbacks. Yes, they do both have incredible skills in the passing and running game, but they're not the same type of player, I don't think.
No.
I think that this comes down to who can stay on the field the most. And I think with the Ravens having Derrick Henry, that plays in their favor for sure. But the Commanders have just done such a good job of feeding off momentum. If they get, an early touchdown, they're probably scoring another. Like that's just how it's looked right now for the Commanders, and especially with Jaden Daniels. And like, we've even seen Brian Robinson had a shit day last week, and he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, he's fighting through whatever's happening and getting points. And we've seen Austin Eckler start to turn things back up, getting back in the game last week, making some big plays in the receiving and the running game. And shit, fucking Jeremy McNichols shows up and rushes for like 30 yards. Like, they just kind of do what they need to do. And I do think that if this team wants to be successful going forward, they need another wide receiver. That's, besides the point. But Jaden Daniels is doing what he can at an extremely high level with, in the grand scheme, very little. And the fact that he's doing that is very similar to what Lamar Jackson found success doing for many years of his career up until probably this point. This is probably the most weapons he's had on his team because he has Derrick Henry behind him. And, of course, Zay Flowers has emerged as such a good option for him. And then, Likely looks good. And you don't even have to throw to Mark Andrews because you can throw to Charlie Kolar and, like, all these different guys on this offense that are working out. I know Devin Duvernay just hit the IR, which might, change some things, but really not that much. But I see this being very similar to what we saw last week out of the Ravens, which was just a high-scoring slugfest. What are you thinking with these teams? They're so hard to read, especially going up head-to-head.
Yeah, I think the biggest discrepancy, kind of something you mentioned earlier with this one, is, one team has Derrick Henry, the other one doesn't.
Exactly.
And I think what you're going to find is maybe with the Ravens, I think I know I said quarterback duel earlier, but maybe feed Derrick Henry a lot. Keep that Commanders offense off of the field and really have to force them to, put them in situations where they're having to maybe play against the clock and having to play catch up a little bit because you've kept them off the ball for so long. And the Commanders don't really have that yet. I feel like they rely on the big play a lot, but they've been able to find consistency in the big play. It's not just kind of like a one-off thing. We've seen it with Terry McLaurin. He's pretty much had a big play, one or two like past couple weeks in a row, which has been awesome. Yeah. But, I don't think you're going to be able to find the big play as consistently when you're going up against the Ravens. But then again, the Bengals had a lot against the Ravens last week.
Exactly.
So
you had Jamar Chase.
It's going to be hard to tell.
Yeah, you had Jamar Chase, one like 77-yard touchdown or 71-yard touchdown. He had a 55-yard touchdown. T. Higgins had himself a field day out there. Like, if Jaden Daniels is doing that with Terry McLaurin and, Austin Eckler out of the backfield looked really good last week, kind of more like what we're used to, 2 years removed from that kind of Austin Eckler. Like, if we're seeing that and we're seeing Terry McLaurin just doing his thing and Jaden Daniels doesn't get off to what was, last week kind of a shaky start, just lucked out because they were playing the Browns. And if he just shows up right out the gates and just looks good, they're going to stay in this game regardless.
Exactly.
So I would love to take the Commanders. I just don't know if I can. The defense is just so bad that if it gets down to a point, kind of like with the Ravens and Bengals last week, it came down to literally overtime. You're on your last legs. I trust the Ravens defense to get a stop in overtime more than the Commanders, and I trust their offense to just play with consistency as well. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going to go Ravens 31, Commanders 27.
Okay, I'm going to go Ravens 38, Commanders 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they'll probably keep up for the whole first half, but I have just a feeling that the Ravens are just going to end up pulling away.
Gotcha.
In this game.
All right, Let's go to the next one. We got a lot of road favorites here for the remainder of this schedule. Chargers, 3-point favorites on the road versus the Broncos. This game just has nasty, bad offense, low-scoring game written all over it. These are two teams that are just so capable of that outcome.
Exactly.
Do we know Herbert's status?
No, but I can check real fast. Herbert is questionable. He was limited yesterday at practice. I don't have anything for Thursday.
Okay.
And Joe Alt is actually limited at practice yesterday as well, so that could be a very good sign.
That could be a huge comeback for them.
Yeah, let's see. Joey Bosa didn't practice. Gus Edwards didn't practice.
JK's coming back, right? Or JK has been back, but
JK's been back.
Week. That's what it was.
Asante Samuel's questionable. Hayden Hurst is questionable. Cameron Dicker's sick. It's actually kind of interesting. They have a lot of really key players that are just not healthy.
Yeah, and this is a Broncos team that somehow scraping together some wins.
Yeah, why do I not mind Bo Nix?
I don't hate him. He's a little weird. A
little weird, yeah. A little bizarre.
Some things just don't seem right. And every now and then, just he gets lucky and Javonte Williams bails him out of a weird spot. It's an odd look Broncos team for sure. Offensive line could use a little bit of help. They were definitely committing a lot of flags last week. But I think there are some positive things to take away from this Broncos team thus far.
They'd shoot up that Raiders offense and spit it out.
Yeah.
Last week, so
crazy. Enough to make them make a QB change.
Yeah, which is wild to me. I cannot. I'm so excited that the Steelers are playing Aiden O'Connell. I know we're not talking about that game, but
I think it's because Aiden O'Connell, every time Aiden O'Connell comes into the game, Jacoby Myers looks like fucking Devontae Adams. And Devontae Adams is obviously not going to play until he gets traded. So Jacoby Myers is going to have to run shit, and I would rather have Aiden O'Connell. Last week, Aiden O'Connell comes in the game. I think Jacoby Myers got 3 more receptions after he came in the game, and one of them was one of the most amazing shows of athleticism on a catch I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, it was unbelievable body control by Jacoby Myers to pull down the catch that he did. Then again, I believe it was on Riley Moss. Shout out the white corner getting an interception last week. First white corner with an interception in 22 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Shout out Riley Moss.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this game's going to suck, if I had to guess. Unless you want to see, like, punting, which I do because this is me and Colin's punters going head-to-head in fantasy.
Oh, nice.
J.K. Scott versus Riley Dixon. So, I don't know. We'll see. And I'm using the Broncos defense this week because I'm not in on the Chargers. Too many injuries right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Broncos 10, Chargers 7. Especially with Dicker being sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna match you on that. Actually,
Okay.
I like that score.
A rare match for NFL final scores. Let's talk about your team. Steelers 3-point favorites on the road versus the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell starting, like we mentioned. Obviously, a historic matchup as well. Steelers Raiders. What are your thoughts here?
Well, Steelers Raiders right off the bat tells me that it's going to be a close game. The fact that we're playing in Vegas though does not bode well, I think, in our favor. We have never played well in Vegas. I'm pretty sure. Well, against. Oh, hang on. Let me re-jog the thoughts here. The Steelers do not play well when we have to go away to play the Raiders. I think Ben Roethlisberger was like 0-5.
Oh, wow. Just
going to Oakland. But yeah, the Steelers. We definitely have some shit to figure out.
I agree.
And it's not like our offense is bad and we're like turning the ball over. We're prehistoric.
Yeah,
is probably the best way to put it.
Can't get a first down.
No, can't get a first down. And I still like I hear so much Najee slander on campus because I talk about fantasy football with a lot of my classmates, and it's like I don't think you guys understand that Najee is getting tackled like pretty much before he has the thinking process to do anything.
Which is
I don't think it's Najee's fault at all.
It's unbelievable that that's the case because all you guys have done for years is bolster that offensive line.
Tell me about it.
It makes no sense that they cannot block for him.
And I think there's still a lot of potential there, especially with this draft class. I think the Steelers did really well with Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier. I think his name is Zach Frazier.
Yes.
And Troy Fautanu, but Troy Fautanu got hurt.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, and Broderick Jones has been kind of like wavering a little bit, but yeah, the Steelers offense looks very, very prehistoric right now, and we can't keep relying on that.
Yeah, I've heard of, there's this one guy who was running the offense in Atlanta last year, the year before. I think he might have something to do with it. Because when things stop working for Arthur Smith, he decides like, okay, let's just change everything we thought we were on offense.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys have been doing the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's been incredibly frustrating. Like, Najee was our leading receiver last week.
That's unreal.
And it's just, like, what our defense was able to do to Dak Prescott just we should have won. We should have been able to win the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, how do you lose to a quarterback that was crying?
Dude, he was crying hard, too.
Yeah, like CeeDee Lamb said subpar throw, and that was just, oh my God.
He was already crying.
that was it.
I do need to point that out. Dak was already crying.
Still won. And it goes back to whenever we played Dak Prescott his rookie year, I believe, when they came to Heinz Field and, Big Ben had that fake spike touchdown. All was well in the world.
I love that play so much.
Yeah. And then Zeke gets the ball and just it ruins everything, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really too sure what to think about the Steelers right now, man. You give us 3 in a row and then you take 2 in a row away from us. So yeah, I'm not a very happy camper.
Yeah. Well, what are we thinking final score wise? I do still think the Steelers will win this game. The Raiders are so weird right now.
With Aiden O'Connell at quarterback, I'm gonna kind of agree with you there. I'm gonna take Steelers 17, Raiders 6.
I'm gonna go Steelers 13, Raiders 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this game's gonna suck.
Real good game there.
We got more road favorites. Lions 3-point favorites on the road in Dallas. We know what happened last time the Lions and the Cowboys played. You had that weird. The guy didn't. What's the word? Declare. Fuck. What? Am I stupid?
Eligibility?
Yes, that's right.
Is that right?
You didn't check in as eligible. That's what I was trying to say.
What a weird fucking.
Yeah, it's just the weirdest way for a game to end. The Cowboys defense is so beat up. Like, I can only expect that the Lions just run them to shit.
Yeah, same. They'll definitely capitalize on it like the Steelers didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, no Micah Parsons. I'm pretty sure DeMarcus Lawrence is still out as well.
Yeah, he's on the IR, so he's still got 2 more weeks plus this, so 3 more weeks till he can come back.
Yeah, the Cowboys defense is completely shredded. And now that they're going to face a competent offense, unlike the Steelers, I don't think it's going to go well for them. Unless Dak can keep up, which Dak is perfectly capable of keeping up in a game where his defense is playing bad, but he's prone to, turnover. So
yeah,
we may not see that. So.
Yeah, and I think the Lions defense has pleasantly surprised me at a lot of points this season. I know they're maybe not getting the exact results they're looking for, and like, that defense didn't look very good against like the Seahawks a couple of weeks ago, but I think they're doing enough. They're starting to get there. They've really invested a lot in this defense, and you can tell that there are flashes there when it needs to happen. I'm not totally sold on it, and I do still think that the Cowboys offense will be good enough to put up some points. It's just the Cowboys defense will not be able to stop the Lions because they can do whatever they would like. They're capable of that. They have obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown, who can take over a game. Sam Laporta is coming back to health now. He's going to be playing in this game, and I think he'll probably play a pretty big role as well. You still have a Jameson Williams to throw to downfield, and you have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, who can win a game single-handedly. So
yeah.
I think that it's only going to go the way of the Lions here. It's just about by how much. I know this is a Cowboys home game, but this is a different Cowboys than we're used to seeing at AT&T Stadium. So I'm gonna go with the Lions, and I'm gonna take the Lions 24, Cowboys 17.
I'm gonna take the Lions 31, Cowboys 24.
Okay, a little bit more higher scoring. We'll continue the road favorites. Falcons 6-point favorites on the road versus the Panthers. I beg you. Please don't fuck around. Let's not fuck around, okay? We beat the Saints in a close one. Came down to the wire. We beat the Bucks in maybe the most exciting game we're going to see all season.
That was incredible.
For the love of God, do not fuck around with this game. Just look. I know it seems easy after what we've gone through. Especially because right before the Saints was that fucking Chiefs game. This seems like a walk in the park. It looked like it last year too. It did. And we went to Carolina and we lost fucking 9-6 and they kicked a game-winning field goal. Like, let's not do anything stupid here. Go in and take care of business.
Yeah, and I think Bijan is probably going to get back on track here as well. I can definitely see that happening.
I can't have Kirk throwing 60 passes a game. I can't.
Yeah. But then again, though, you almost wonder if that's kind of the rhythm he needs to be in to be that successful.
Maybe. I'll give him 40. I don't want 60.
Yeah, 40 is a good number. 60 is crazy.
Yeah, 60 is crazy. 509 is cool, but you're not going to get 509 every week.
Him and Drake London are on the same page, which I think is.
I love
Darnell Mooney looks like Randy Moss sometimes. Randy Ross, baby. John Ross and Randy Moss.
Yeah. He does not look like John Ross. Let's put that out there.
You know something that I think is kind of interesting to compare, though? Let's compare Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson to Kirk Cousins and Drake London for a second.
Yeah.
I feel like Drake London has been able to really, really strive to get on the same page as Kirk instead of Kirk trying to get on the same page as Drake London. And that has done wonders for that offense and that duo. And, I know it's kind of irrelevant and we're going back to talking about the Jets, but I don't feel like Garrett Wilson has necessarily done that. And I think that that's a big discrepancy that they have. And it's a good thing that the Falcons have been able to do that. We've seen it. It's looked great all season long.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the way that this offense has progressed is outstanding. And it's for better or worse, it's moved quickly. I think Zach Robinson is starting to figure some things out. Look, there's still some moments where I'm like, okay, the play calling wasn't perfect and whatnot, but I think he's done a good job of recognizing when things are working and when things aren't and how to change it. That's what this guy, you got to remember with Zach Robinson, hasn't really been on the field much. Like he was a passing game coordinator for a couple years with the Rams. Before that, he was working at Pro Football Focus. Obviously, he had jobs before he was working at PFF, but this guy was watching film, essentially, for a couple years. Then he became the passing game coordinator. Now he's an offensive coordinator. This is his first time really doing it, and he's calling all the plays. I think I'm giving Zach Robinson a bit of a leash here, and I think he's got the perfect setup in the way that it's progressing right now to kind of let him off the leash at this point. And he just has to keep going. And this is the team you keep going with. This is where you don't slow it down. You don't change anything up. Whatever you did in the second half against the Buccaneers is where you need to pick up against the Panthers. I don't like taking the foot off the gas. I hate it. I think it's something that we see a lot in college football that pisses me off. It's something I hate about Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. He likes to take his foot off the gas. And it bothers me to the furthest degree. And I can't have that happen with the Falcons.
Yeah, and I think just to talk about Atlanta a little bit some more, like the strides they have made since week 1 is phenomenal, and it's not getting talked about enough. How the only reason that the Steelers that we won week 1 was because Mike Tomlin is a defensive head coach, and he was able to exploit the shortcomings, and the Falcons essentially still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
But the Falcons since week 1 have only gotten better week by week. Now, to your point exactly, is like the Panthers could be that game where you kind of go, okay, like, maybe we don't, put our foot on the gas as heavily. But you need to. Yeah. You need to keep going, keep trying to work on things, keep figuring things out, and this should be an easy game for Atlanta. I'm going to go 24-13.
Yeah. Also, Andy Dalton has just gotten worse and worse each week. So we might see Bryce Young for the whole second half this time instead of like the last drive.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm gonna go Falcons. I don't think we're maybe gonna have an offensive explosion that you might expect. Just because it's a division game, and I never feel good about playing the Panthers for some reason. I think I'm scarred by the Cam Newton times. I think that has scarred me a little bit. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I'm gonna go 20. Let's go 27. 27-14. I don't know if the defense is gonna have as good of a day as we'd maybe like to. That's how I'll phrase it. More road favorites. Bengals 3.5-point favorites on the road versus the Giants. Sunday Night Football. What a horrible fucking game.
Do we at least get Malik Neighbors?
I don't. He didn't practice yesterday. I know that. I know he's got a projection in fantasy. I know that much. Let's see, where are we at? Still in concussion protocol.
Yeah, well, there goes your one shot.
Yeah. So if he practices tomorrow, then he will be able to play. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, he won't be able to play because he wouldn't have practiced once this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like where the Giants' offense is heading. I could say that. Daniel Jones seems to be in a much better rhythm, even without Malik Neighbors last week. He did a great job of spreading the ball between Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton. Hoping that he can do that again. Tyrone Tracy was awesome to watch last week. That was a great kind of story that's come out. It was a shout out to you for shouting out Tyrone Tracy in our NFC Beast preview that week before the season started.
Yeah, and that was just kind of off of I think there's room for a running back 2 when your running back 1 is Devin Singletary, who has been decent this year, I will admit, but
got hurt.
Yeah, got hurt. Yeah, the Giants are probably going to get blown out here. They might be able to score some points because the Bengals genuinely might have one of the worst defenses in the entire league.
And it just keeps getting worse. Dax Hill's out now.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, if I was the Bengals, I may have kept Jesse Bates over all of this contract bullshit with Jamar.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And Joe. Joe was more of the problem because he's the one that got paid right before that season.
Yeah. Yeah. And it shows that you don't have Jesse Bates anymore. Every week it shows.
It does. It does. And now Dax Hill going down is another safety that you're dealing with an injury with. So, the Bengals defense is brutal. The Giants offense can look good at times. I just don't want to count on them at all, if that makes any sense. We obviously know MetLife Stadium in prime time is a good place for somebody to tear an ACL. So tread lightly.
Ouch.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to go with the Bengals. Just, Joe Burrow looked fucking awesome last week against the Ravens. And the Giants have a shit secondary. So I can expect some Jamar and T. Higgins action for sure. I'm going to go with the Bengals. Let's go. 28-17.
I'm going to, we go off of vibes here. This is a vibe pick.
It's a vibe pick.
I'm going to go 41-24 Bengals.
Whoa. Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. I'm all for it. That sounds like an entertaining ass game to watch.
This is a zero defense game, but the Bengals are just way, way more high powered than the Giants are.
All right. Well, as long as the game starts on time, you'll get live updates throughout Monday's episode of our reactions to that game. So if it's going to be 41 points scored by the Bengals, you'll be hearing a lot of updates. All right. Final game of the week, Monday Night Football. Bills 2.5-point favorites against the Jets.
The Jets are gonna get fucking rammed here, dude.
This is the best. This is like the best thing that Josh Allen at this current moment could walk into. He has been fucking hot garbage. Oh my God, he has been bad. I can't stop thinking about 9 for 30 whatsoever. It's just in the back of my mind. Anytime I think about Josh Allen, I think 9 for 30. And this is the perfect storm. Or
dude,
it's not.
He hadn't even thrown a pick yet this year.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
What
happened to the real Josh Allen?
Could this also not be a good spot for the Bills? A little interim head coach boost?
Oh, man. Dude, if you lose this game...
Rodgers might be turning up now that Robert Saleh's out. New passing, new play calling for the offense.
Yeah, that is true.
It just seems like some structural things that were an issue are being fixed.
Do the Jets ever let Rodgers call plays? They ever let him freestyle?
I'm sure Nathaniel Hackett was letting him freestyle every now and then.
Yeah, probably.
Also, it's so clear that Nathaniel Hackett is literally Aaron Rodgers' bitch. At all times. It's so clear. It's crazy. I think Aaron Rodgers, this is maybe a hot take, I think Aaron Rodgers might have ruined his own career by hitching his trailer to Nathaniel Hackett.
Definitely.
Like, you really fucked up.
Definitely.
Imagine if it went the way it was supposed to with the Broncos hiring Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach. Imagine Rodgers took that bait.
Was it Nathaniel Hackett when Aaron Rodgers walked up to him? This was on Hard Knocks. He's like, "Hey, little bitch."
Yeah.
What's up, little bitch? It's very apparent.
Yeah.
Very apparent.
No, it's like, dude, imagine what world we would be living in where Nathaniel Hackett is still the head coach of the Denver Broncos because Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback. That's how it was supposed to go. Instead, they got fucking Russ. And Hackett got fired before the season was over.
Oh, man. For the love of God, please get Breece Hall going.
Oh, man. Please. And James Cook, for that matter. He had a bad week last week.
Yeah. I'm just tired. I love seeing Aaron Rodgers, just slinging it. That Vikings game was pretty entertaining. Despite the 3 interceptions, I think Aaron Rodgers was slinging it. It was fun to watch.
Him essentially just recreating the gif of the dude coming out of the coffin when he like went down with that knee injury that looked so bad.
Oh man,
I thought he was
horrible.
I thought it was wraps. I didn't want to say anything, but I thought it was over with that one. And then like he's like about to go into the tent. He sees that flag get thrown, and he goes and grabs his fucking helmet, gets back out there. That was
so
insane.
Bizarre. That was awesome.
Yeah,
dude, he went from being sideways, caught in a like literally couldn't escape his leg being bent, and it like you can just see his face. He's yelling.
Yeah,
he is screaming.
Yeah,
and then he goes back out there and tries to lead a comeback.
Yeah, it was absurd.
Oh man,
Bills are gonna wipe them. Like, that's just how it feels. At least I feel like the Bills should comfortably take this, but I don't know. I'm starting to talk myself into this interim head coach thing.
You kind of talked me out of the Bills getting just blowing out the Jets. I'm not gonna lie. So
17-14 Bills. Weird game.
24-14 Bills.
Okay. I feel weird about this game. I don't know what it is.
You know what? No. We're going off the vibes. It's 24-21 Jets.
Oh,
Aaron Rodgers is going to go take over mode.
Jeff Ulbrich, head coaching debut. 4 teams on bye: Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings.
Thank God I don't have to look at Patrick Mahomes' stupid fucking face ever again. Well, just for this week, I guess.
Ever again. He's going to be back the next week.
Yeah, dude, he made it. Oh man, Monday Night Football. He made a good play against the Saints, and like his face was just like,
yeah.
I hate him, dude. I hate that guy.
He gets off about football.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, he does. He does. But did you see that little shift play that he had against the Saints?
Nothing surprises me anymore with him.
It's unbelievable.
I see these things happen, and I'm like, it's Patrick Mahomes. Like,
that's all you can say.
It's just what it is, man. We're finding ways to talk about him, and he's not even fucking playing this week.
Oh man.
Oh God. Also, Vikings. Love that they've got a bye right now. You had a weird showing against the Jets in London. You get a bye after coming back from London. That's ideal.
Yeah. Sucks to suck, JJ McCarthy. Because, damn.
Yeah. Sam Darnold might just earn himself a contract.
Dude, and I said that too. And and when we were doing our division previews, I was like, what if Sam Darnold has a season where they never need JJ McCarthy?
Yeah.
And it's what it's looking like. I mean, who knows? It could all go up in flames.
Look, JJ's significantly younger. Like, Sam Darnold's been in the league for 8 years almost. I think he got drafted in 2016 or 17.
Yeah, what's crazy to think about, remember his quote where he was like, I'm seeing ghosts?
Yeah.
That was such a long time ago.
Yeah. He hasn't been on the Jets in a while.
No, he has not.
Well, think about this. He replaced Baker Mayfield on the Panthers.
Yeah.
That's a weird-ass sentence.
That's wild. Yeah. I almost forgot about Baker being there, too. Yeah. Shit. I bet they'd like to have both of those guys back.
No shit. Bryce Young, not quite cutting it. He was my, remember that? Remember what if Bryce Young goes crazy? Week 1 preview?
Oh, yeah.
That didn't happen. We don't have to think about that. All right. That's enough in the NFL. Let's head over to the Diamond, the MLB playoffs rolling on. Been exciting. I will say very, very exciting playoffs to this point.
Letter to the Mets. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck the Mets. That's
just fuck the
Mets.
But
also, okay, it's like a double-edged sword for me. Thank you for knocking out the Phillies. I am praying you lose in the next round.
Yeah.
I needed Phillies fans to get humbled. They got humbled. Look, I know we're going to be the ones that get fucking laughed at. Our whole team was hurt. I try.
Yeah.
Try, because that's the same shit y'all would bring up every fucking year. Oh, the Braves won the World Series? Oh, well, this guy was hurt for 10 games. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. I'm not here complaining about injuries. I'm just saying that is the case.
Yeah.
So,
you're exactly right.
Yeah. fuck off with excuses. I'm not making excuses for this Braves team because we got injured and we sucked dick. Let's talk about the AL, though. We'll start on that side. We had game 2. Well, so those games, game 4s, which we have game 4s for both series, are tonight as we're speaking. So you guys already know what happened. Likely one of, if not both teams, will clinch tonight. We'll see. But Yankees and Tigers, both in those positions. We'll start off talking about the Tigers series. Game 2, so Tigers get blown out in game 1. Me and Colin already talked about it on Monday's episode, but Tigers get blown out in game 1. Game 2, they come out, and Tarik Skubal does it again. This guy, when I say he was built for playoff baseball, like, this guy is intense, and he has been. The intensity that I saw in this 7-inning outing against the Guardians is the same intensity that I saw in, like, 1 o'clock travel day games against the White Sox. Like, yeah. This guy's just a baseball guy. I love Tarik Skubal so much. Before the season started, I was singing his praises. I correctly predicted the AL Cy Young with Tarik Skubal because he's going to win it. Don't even try and say anybody else is. And this guy's just a fucking animal. Like, of course he was going to fuck shit up if the Tigers made it to the playoffs. And that's exactly what he's doing. The Guardians, on the other hand, just keep, like, between game 2 and game 3, which we're about to talk about, just keep finding ways to fuck up. So many shortcomings everywhere. The rotation is not good enough right now. Tanner Bibby is the only part of this rotation that I could trust when they go out there to start a game. Because Bieber's hurt, and he has been all year. I wish the Guardians were in this position and had Shane Bieber, but they don't, and I think it kills them. Emmanuel Clase is amazing. Well, in game 2, he gave up a 3-run home run. That was the only runs of the game in the top of the 9th inning to Kerry fucking Carpenter, of all people. Emmanuel Clase gave up 3 home runs all season. And gave him a 3-run home run here in, his second game of these playoffs.
Yeah, genuinely the worst time to give up a home run.
Yeah. You made the worst choice yet, Clase.
Then again, your offense gave you nothing the entire game.
No.
But it's Tarik Skubal. So
yeah, exactly. But then you go to game 3, and the Tigers do it again. They bring the series to Comerica after a day off, and they say, you know what? Let's just shut them out again and win 3-0. And that's what they did, just at home this time. The first time that the Tigers have even hosted a home playoff game since, I think, 2012. And they showed up. Like, they shut out the Guardians again. And what's crazy is after game 3, the Guardians are outscoring the Tigers in this series. They won that first. Yeah, won that first game 7-6 or 7-0. Tigers have only put up 6 since. They're up 2-1 because the Guardians have gone 20 straight innings without scoring.
Yeah, it's genuinely brutal for them, and they have more than capable players that can step up to these big moments that just aren't.
Yeah, what's pissing me off too is that there are guys on this team doing the right things. Their middle relief has looked really good. They're not really giving up a lot of runs in the middle of games. Starters look bad outside of Bibby. Clase gives up the 3-run shot. Like, that's brutal. But, Stephen Kwan is out here doing his fucking job. He went 4 for 5 in game 3 with all singles. Yeah, but he goes out there, or maybe it was 3 for 4, 4 for 5. I don't know. I think it was 3 for 4. And he's on first base every fucking time, and he just gets to stay there. And then he goes to the dugout. I can't get it because this is the kind of offense that, in game 1, me and Colin were just, amazed. They started off game 1 with, I think it was 6 consecutive batters, just boom, 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 boom. And it culminates with a 3-run home run by Lane Thomas. And all of a sudden, I think it was a 5-run first inning. What happened? I understand with Skubal, but game 2 made no sense, or game 3 made no sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Crazy. But now that we go to game 4, which is already concluded by the time you guys are hearing this, Tigers could have clinched, or we'll be going to game 5, which I believe will be Saturday if needed. Let's talk Royals Yankees. Game 2, Royals got the win. Their only win to this point. They won 4-2. I will say Cole Reagan's kind of underwhelming after that great showing that we saw in the wild card. But he kind of lucked out because Carlos Rodon is just as bad as expected.
Yeah, Carlos Rodon started really good, though. I felt like, I mean, he gave up those runs early, I believe. I'm not too sure what inning it was, but what I caught from the beginning of that game was he was looking good until he wasn't.
Yeah.
And then just this Yankee offense, man, it's not looking good, Grayson.
No.
Even if we win this series, it's not looking good. Aaron Judge. You know what I'm doing, Grayson? I'm looking for him.
Yeah, he has been
looking for him.
Hidden.
If we did not get Juan Soto this season, I don't really know what the fuck would have happened. We probably would have just been bounced out already in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then, all of our offense is coming from Verdugo, and then a great game from Stanton last night just saved us. Like, we are just hanging on by our teeth.
Yeah, no, Yankees fans need to get on their knees and thank Giancarlo Stanton for what he did in Game 3.
Yeah, because that was the entire reason that we won.
Yeah, that 2-run home run was
not good.
Enormous. And then, of course, Juan Soto had the RBI hit that scored in the other run. I think Volpe scored. And, that was the game changer. Also, Bobby Witt, what the fuck? Where has he been? He's doing nothing. I think he's batting 167 right now between the wild card and this series. He's just doing nothing.
Yeah, it's been brutal. But I feel like it's the way that it's been brutal for both teams, the Yankees and the Royals, has made it a pretty interesting series. Definitely. There's been a lot of grit, a lot of tough games.
Very close games all the way through. And then, you had the pitching matchup in Game 3. Seth Lugo and Clark Schmidt both had the same performance.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very weird.
And how about Salvador Perez on the Royals side? He's been great.
Yeah.
He's been looking really, really good.
Shout out Michael Garcia, their leadoff hitter. He's a dog.
Yeah.
He's only 24 years old, too. He's awesome. Game 4 is tonight for both those series. Obviously, you guys already know what happened. I'm going to assume you're rooting for a Yankees win. I'm rooting for a Tigers win. So,
come on.
I love the Tigers right now. I'm riding out Tigers-Padres World Series.
Oh, man. The Yankees, I probably shouldn't already be looking ahead, but
don't do it.
You're right.
Just don't. It's not
You're
worth
right.
it.
We just need to figure out some stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember, halfway through the season when I was talking okay, well, we might not win the division, but the playoffs.
Yeah.
Just don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's talk National League side. Game 2, Padres-Dodgers. Weird-ass game. Padres 10, Dodgers 2. Dodgers fans straight up crashing out. I don't use that term ever. This was a crash out by Dodgers fans. You had the Jerkson Profar robbed a home run off of Mookie Betts, where he just acted like he didn't catch it and sold it enough where the Fox broadcast popped up the home run graphic, and Mookie didn't realize until he was about to get to third base. Which was awesome. And then Dodgers fans started throwing shit on the field to the point that they delayed the game for 8 minutes. And the MLB rules, the rule book for the MLB says that if fan obstruction delays the game for 15 minutes or more, the home team has to forfeit the game.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Forfeiting a playoff game. They practically forfeited.
Yeah.
They lost by fucking 8 runs.
And it's just leave that shit to Yankees fans. We can't be doing that out on the West Coast, y'all.
Yeah.
It's just, and Dodgers fans just got to wrap their head around the fact that they are not a playoff team like they are a regular season team. Sorry. It doesn't even matter what players you have or who you sign. You will always struggle in the playoffs.
Yeah, and in this game, you had, Fernando Tatis going crazy. This whole series, he's been awesome. He had 2 home runs in this game, 3 RBIs. He was 3 for 4. Jackson Merrill had a great day as well, 3 for 5, had a homer and 3 RBIs. I love this Padres team on both sides. Pitching-wise, I love them, other than the fact that Dylan Cease's looked like garbage. I really like him.
But Yu Darvish hasn't.
Yeah, Yu Darvish hasn't. He's pitching in Game 5 on Friday. So let's talk about Game 3. Dodgers lose again, 5-6. Padres gave up that first inning home run to Betts, and then top of the second went insane and just rode that to a victory. In that top of the second, culminated with a Tatis home run, which was now 3 home runs in 2 games. Just unbelievable. Dodgers tried to do something in the third inning. Teoscar Hernandez hit a grand slam, made it 6-5, and then they just rode that all the way to the end of the game. That was the only runs. It was a first inning home run by Betts, a crazy second inning that scored 6 runs for the Padres, and then a grand slam in the third for the Dodgers, and then it was just 6-5 to finish the game. The bullpens really stepped up and held it down.
Yeah, 100%. And Michael King, again, dominant.
Yeah,
absolutely dominant. Well, 5 earned runs, never mind.
But it was really because of that grand slam, which was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. I guess outside of that, he did look pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then you go to Game 4, Dodgers 8, Padres 0, which was very surprising, I would say. It got to the point where Petco Park was silent, which is pretty hard to do in the postseason. and for the Dodgers, no Freddie Freeman. He got scratched from the lineup 2 hours before the game because he's been fighting off a sprained ankle for since the last week of the season when he sprained his ankle in a game. Was able to play games 1, 2, and 3. Left games 2 and 3 both early, and then got scratched from the lineup for Game 4. Didn't matter, mainly because Dylan Cease was hot fucking garbage. He was so bad. Then Brian Hoeing came in relief for him. He also looked bad. So the Dodgers really lucked out. They ran a bullpen game. We are getting a call. This was a kind of anticipated call. Jared Whitecamp is on the line. Jared, you're live on Second and Short.
Oh, awesome.
How are you doing?
Great. I just got out of class. I'm starving. Going to get wings.
Nice.
Okay. I'm going to need some by about tomorrow at noon. I need some locks for the Notre Dame-Stanford game because I'm going to be at Notre Dame Saturday.
Noted.
And it's sports betting's legal in Indiana, so I'm putting a parlay down.
Okay. That's responsible. I appreciate you calling in. I'll give you that information off. What?
Where are we at in the show?
We were talking about Game 4 of the NLDS between the Dodgers and Padres. Dodgers won that game 8-0. You got a preview for Friday's game? Dodgers Padres. Who do you think's going to win it? It's the
honestly
series finale.
I mean, I'd rather the Padres win just because I feel like the Dodgers always win. You know,
I like that.
See the Padres go through. I also am kind of salty about the Dodgers doing really well, and the fact that the Braves got a good first baseman out of it, but
yeah, it could have been. Freddie's probably better.
Yeah, he definitely is, and being a Braves fan, I'm salty about that.
That's fair. Yeah, no. As a Braves fan, you should be preying on the downfall of the Dodgers at all times.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. I also it was really hard watching the Phillies Mets play because I wanted them both to lose.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because again, as a Braves fan, we didn't do well this year. So ideally, one of them wins it all because the NL East just looks better.
No. See, people get that twisted too often. I don't want to have to play them so many times this season and have to deal with the issue of them being like, whoa, well, we won the World Series last year.
That's true. Granted, we did do that a few years ago.
Yeah. I don't want to be on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, neither do I. That's a good point. But I don't really know who I'd want to win it all.
Yeah, as of right now, AL or NL, who do you think's going to who do you want to win the World Series?
Who do I want? It's a tough call. The team that I really want not even there. But,
that's fair. I'm rooting for the Tigers. I'm just letting you know that.
Tigers, I think that would be good because I feel like Detroit sports just the past few years haven't been very successful.
They haven't been successful ever, I think. The Pistons won a finals in like the early 2000s.
And like the Red Wings, like
the Red Wings,
like, terrible, and like the Lions are doing better.
Yeah,
Detroit, it's definitely not the Mets.
Good.
Definitely not the Mets.
Luke would be mad if I didn't say the Yankees.
That is true. Luke would be mad if you didn't say the Yankees.
But dude, watching Edwin Diaz come in as a closer, that's electric.
He did look good. Edwin Diaz is a great scene to see come into the game.
Honestly, if for the ALCS and NLCS, I'd want Tigers, Kansas City versus the Yankees. Yeah, I kind of want Kansas City. I think it'd be cool.
Let's go. Okay, so we're getting Tigers, Royals in the ALCS.
Tigers, Royals. Unfortunately, the Mets. If I could go all the way back, I'd pick the Brewers.
Fair.
Can't do that. And then, I take the Padres, dude.
Okay, I love that. I love those picks.
And honestly, World Series, Padres, Tigers.
Padres. That's the prediction I've been rolling with for like a week now.
I feel like we haven't seen either of those teams in the World Series in so long.
Yeah, it's been a long time for both of them.
So I feel like that would be really cool to see. Granted, like going into this baseball season, I had already forgotten that the Rangers won last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody did something like that. Like whoever wins, and I forget about it by next season. But
that's true. Unless the Braves win, I try to forget.
Yeah. And then if the Braves also don't do well, I also try and forget. But honestly, like between Tigers, Padres, I kind of want to see the Padres take it all.
Okay, I can respect that. Either of those teams works for me.
Yeah, like if either of them win, like good for them. It should be a good series to watch at least. I kind of want Padres to take it.
All right. Well, Jared, thank you for calling in. We're gonna continue where we're at. Hopefully, you enjoy your wings that you're about to go get.
Need that.
And
you guys enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, enjoy the Notre Dame game. We'll be in contact.
Gotcha.
All right, man. See ya. That was a nice little 6-minute appearance by one Jared Whitecamp. Shout out, Jared.
Shout out. Go watch the Vegas episode if you want to see Jared in the flesh.
That's true. All right. Back to where we were at. We got Darvish versus undecided for Game 5. So we don't know yet who the Dodgers are bringing for Game 5. But Yu Darvish will be on the bump for the Padres. And then, not really who cares about what happened in Game 3 for Phillies Mets. The Phillies lost 2-7. It's really about Game 4 where the Mets locked it up and clinched the NLDS series. Heading to the NLCS now. Mets win it 4-1 off a Francisco Lindor grand slam in the bottom of the 6th. Just what a way for them to do it.
Together.
Yeah, it is working right now. I would like to give a shout out to Mark Vientos. He has been the MVP of the Mets team in this whole playoff run. He has been absolutely killing it. So shout out to Mark Vientos. I still hate him because he's a Met, but shout out. What are we thinking? Okay, if we've got Padres Mets, let's just say we have Padres Mets. How do we feel about the Mets? Like, are the Mets enough to beat the Padres or the Dodgers, for that matter?
I don't know. The Mets just seem so explosive right now. Like they're just a high octane team, which is I feel like pretty good in the postseason if you're able to consistently put up, a decent amount of runs. Like you haven't had less than 4.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good in the postseason.
Very much.
But then again, I feel like the Padres are kind of the same, but just a hell of a lot better. You can count on them a lot more than you can the Mets.
I agree.
I feel like.
I agree. I think with the Mets, it's a lot of
Mets could beat the Dodgers, though.
I agree.
I think
with the Mets, it's just a lot of like sitting around and waiting, and then they have that inning.
Yeah.
and that inning has won them a lot of games already in this postseason. So it's hard to count them out. I will say that. I agree with you. I think they have a better chance against the Dodgers than the Padres, mainly because of pitching. Dodgers don't have a lot of good, healthy pitching.
No, they do not.
All right. That's kind of all there was to talk about. I will say the Mets have been kind of fun to watch. I hate watching them. I kind of hate watching them. Finding excuses to not like it. But I will say, in recent times, the Phillies were way bigger threat to me. So to have the Mets knock them off does give me a little bit of closure. But I don't know. We'll have to see. And it is kind of nice that neither of them eliminated the Braves.
Yeah.
So I don't have to hear about that either.
God, and I blanking on his name, but whoever started for the Mets on Tuesday fucking killed it.
I can
in Game 3.
Pull that up.
Sean
Manaea, awesome.
Manaea,
one of the one of those ex-athletics.
Yeah, he's throwing from out of frame. Yeah. He's way out here. Did you see how they were warming up for that? They had like the
pretty
jug
awesome.
machine.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. Yeah,
you don't see that a lot, I will say.
No, and I wonder if that would help. Like
oh yeah.
I don't know. Like, would it just be awkward?
It is a little bit awkward.
Would it actually get you used to it?
It's certainly awkward, but I definitely think it would help.
Yeah, I didn't really know that there was a Chris Sale copycat out there, but there is, and his name is Sean Manaea.
Yes. I'm gonna text Nathan real quick because I went to go look at questions time, and there's no questions in there. So okay, I have to say I didn't remind him till 4:00. So I put him in a tough spot. I put him in.
We
a
have
tough
been
spot.
doing the same thing for years. There is no.
That's true.
You shouldn't even have to remind him.
Probably coming up on a year of questions time.
And with him being like 33 years old now, it's getting harder for him. It's getting tough.
I think he's 40.
It could be 43.
Yeah, somewhere around.
No, 52.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about for the moment? I'm gonna text him. Let's just riff.
Yeah.
How about we're switching this from questions time today to fun time. Let's do some housekeeping. Just talk about some shit that's going on. I already talked about the candle at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about this. I think I'm becoming an old human being, like just a whole old person. So
I think you have been for a long time.
Yeah, I have been for sure. But like it's like really hitting me. Like I was telling Luke before the episode, I've been doing like a wind down hour before I go to bed. I've been getting him into bed consistently like 11:30.
That's good.
Which is nice, especially because like I'm a guy, I like waking up. Now this is not early to some people, but I like waking up consistently before like 8:30 or earlier. I don't like sleeping in because I feel like I've wasted so many hours of my day if I sleep in. So I like to get up kind of early, and doing this wind down has made me fall asleep so much faster.
That's good.
It's amazing. And part of my wind down, I sit down, I have, either some kind of sports event on, typically, like Sunday night, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, or, maybe a baseball game. Sometimes a YouTube video I'm watching. Sometimes I've been reading a book. Not consistently. I've been really bad. I was fucking killing it with this book back in August. I still haven't even texted Nathan. I was killing it on this book back in August, and I don't know. It's become harder to pick up. I'm just bad about books. I am. I need to get better at it. But candles have become a big part of it. I've always liked candles. Never bought them because they're kind of expensive.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. And I had bought one of these wood wicks a while ago, and I like to keep things seasonal. I do. I'm a big when it comes to candles specifically. Like I don't decorate. I don't do any of that shit.
But the candles,
yeah, like the scents. I like to keep seasonal candles, especially. So I was rocking with like some tart berry scents for a couple months from like start of August, kind of like end of July up until the other day. And I was like, man, I need a change. It's starting to get cold. Woke up this morning like 55 degrees, like I said earlier. This candle came in at the front door, and I realized how excited I was to get a package from Amazon this morning that had a candle and shampoo.
Man,
dude, I'm old. At 5:45, which was 45 minutes ago, I got a notification that I had another delivery to my front door, and I have been chomping at the bit to go get this delivery. And it's toothpaste and deodorant. I think I'm old. Like I think I'm dying.
You get some of that Hello toothpaste? That's what I use.
I'm a Colgate guy through and through.
Why you ordered Colgate on Amazon?
Yeah, it was just good deals.
Better than like going to Walmart?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, they had the Amazon Big Deal Day or whatever these last 2 days. Yeah. So like I got like 2 tubes of toothpaste for $12. It's like the high quality toothpaste. I think it was cheaper than that.
Yeah.
It might have been $8 or $9. I don't know. And then deodorant is just deodorant. I don't know. I think I'm way too excited about receiving packages. Like I really like the feeling of a delivery getting to my house.
Yeah, a little box opening.
Yeah. There's just something so nice about it, even though I know exactly what's going to be in the box every single time because I ordered it. And I just love opening a package. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's just something that has maybe come over me in my old age of 21 years old.
The last thing I ordered was right there, that little pair of waffles hanging on the wall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I ended up having to get a women's size 12 because for some reason Dick's Sporting Goods is flushing out waffles from their system.
Interesting.
For at least the men. And it's really annoying because they offer free shipping. So
yeah,
and I mean I could always look on Nike, but you got to pay shipping with Nike. So
yeah, that's true.
It's just it's not a good deal there. But the Nike waffle, bro. Wow, they've got me hooked.
Fair enough.
They have got me hooked.
I really need to get some new shoes. I've been rocking. I love my Brooks. Shout out Kyle. Shout out all the Brooks guys. But I don't know. I can't wear them every day. I've been wearing the same pair of, I guess they're the Glycerin 22s. I think. I don't know. I can't even remember. I wear them every single day. To the point where like the bottom of them is like bald. And I don't want to spend like $150 to get new shoes. That's my biggest issue. I just don't want to buy the new shoes because I know I'm still going to want to wear the other ones too.
Yeah. In other words, Kyle, it's been a while since you've sponsored a episode.
It's not what I'm doing. It's not what I'm doing. Shout out to Kyle. He's the best.
Shout out.
Full-time fan. I know he has been.
Much love.
He has been with us since day one. So shout out to Kyle.
Yeah.
But
shout out Kyle.
I can't bring myself to buy things. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago on Questions Time. We were asked like, what's the dumbest purchase or whatever that we've made. I can't spend money like that.
No, dude, it stresses me out to buy shit like that. Like that puffer jacket, I would never buy today. And I'm in a way better financial situation today than I was when I bought that jacket too. So
no,
I don't like spending money at all. I get anxiety for big purchases.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Nathan's ghosting me. What's music looking like for you right now? I haven't been listening to a lot of new music per se. The last time we talked music, I had been kind of going back and listening to artists that I already listened to their new stuff and listening to their old stuff. I've recently just kind of changed up my playlist. Is more the way I've gone. But please tell me what you're listening to right now.
Well, I've already updated Grayson on this, but we haven't updated the viewers. So Grayson, the last time we talked about music, he told us to actually listen to the albums that Ocean Alley has released.
Yes.
Yeah, I followed Grayson's advice and I listened to the latest album that Ocean Alley has put out, Low Altitude Living.
So good. So good.
Yeah, the whole thing is awesome. And pretty much if you're a guy who's wanting to get into new music, I would say that Grayson and I highly suggest Ocean Alley.
Yes.
They're a really nice indie rock band. I would almost describe them as if Tame Impala wasn't on drugs. Like Tame Impala is super psychedelic. Ocean Alley is more like grounded.
If you listen to older albums, a lot more psychedelic rock kind of.
Yeah, but their new album's all vibes, man.
Yeah,
all vibes.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Another band that I've been getting into and that a lot of people have is the Deftones. If you want to listen to a band that has figured out how to balance emotions, I would listen to the Deftones. They have very beautiful melodic like parts in the song, and then they'll just like go really heavy, and he'll just be like screaming, and it just like I don't know, it really hits on a lot of like key emotions that I feel like we all feel, but we don't necessarily express.
I've never really gotten into them. I've given them a chance. I've tried to listen to Deftones. Just never really kind of caught me. I don't know.
That's fair. Still waiting on this A$AP Rocky album. God, I can't wait until that comes out.
I haven't had a single rap album I've been excited about in probably over a year.
That's fair. Have you listened to the new Playboi Carti song "Timeless" with The Weeknd?
No, I've not.
Dude, Carti's starting to speak English again.
Okay,
it's getting dangerous.
That sounds good. I think the last album. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think overall it's absolutely wild that people consider Playboi Carti like a top 3 rapper. Like, that's just unbelievable take to me. But
it's so
it's so
twisted. Like nobody does the same shit anymore.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to do that. What I was gonna say, the last album I think I was excited for was Utopia.
Yeah, and that one delivered.
Yeah, it did. I liked Utopia a lot.
I
think we talked about it when it came out. But like that's the last time I heard about an album and I was like, oh, I can't wait for that to come out. Which I had been waiting on Utopia since I was like a fucking junior in high school. But still, like that was an album where I was like, okay. And like I was pretty happy when they released Days on streaming services.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I listened to it for like a couple weeks and then I just kind of faded it right back out of the rotation. But what I did do, what I was saying earlier, I switched back to an old playlist. So I don't know, this may be a hot take, at least it is to some of the people that I've talked to about it. I have to keep my playlist relatively short and kind of like up to date. Like I cycle songs out pretty quickly. So like,
you actually remove stuff off of a playlist?
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
I have I have like playlists that I keep however they are and I just add to them. I also have like an active playlist that is literally just these songs I want to listen to right now.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's like, this new stuff or this thing I haven't listened to in a while, or like, I'm exploring this artist. I'm going to add a lot more of theirs into this rotation. And, maybe, I've been, this song's been in there for like 2 months and I just, I really liked it, but I'm kind of getting tired of it. That's out. Like I stay pretty on top of it because I hate skipping songs. I hate skipping songs. And in a long playlist, I always end up skipping songs. But I've been like so zeroed in on country music right now. And I was like, I need to get back to listen to like my older country music as well. And so I took all of the new country music that was in my active playlist and put all of it into my old country music playlist that had like, some kind of more recent stuff. But like I hadn't added to that playlist in like probably since 2023, probably midway through 2023. I hadn't added to that playlist, and so I started listening to like a lot more different country music since then that I added in. Okay, Nathan just said he was busy cleaning the house, so we might get questions. We won't. Well, obviously, we won't go crazy long. If he doesn't get them in time, we'll just have a double feature next week, or maybe me and Colin will answer them on Monday. But yeah, so like I added them all to this playlist now, and like I'm loving it because now it's like, okay, I've got, you know, some Red Clay Strays, and then like Alan Jackson, George Jones, and then it like comes back up to like more recent stuff, you know, Riley Green, whatever it may be. Okay, Nathan sent me one question.
That's fine.
One question. And we'll hit it at the end of whatever we're saying right now. I will say there's one artist that I'm getting into. It is country, so for the country fans, feel free. His name is Griffin William Sherry.
Sherry.
I believe he's in a band. I don't know what it's called, and I think he's much more famous for whatever band he is the lead singer of. That's at least, I think, the case. But he dropped an album called 100 Mile Wilderness around, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And I love it. That's really the only new stuff. I also, into my active playlist, I threw in some Oasis. I had never totally gotten into it. I knew like the hits. But I do like their music. I just never explored it. And so I added some Oasis into my kind of active lineup kind of playlist.
You like listening to like the early 2000s like Premier League like players talk about Oasis. Like Oasis was like genuinely like one of the biggest deals in England back then.
Yeah.
Like they were so big. Which is crazy to me.
Yeah. So I've been listening to some Oasis as well, every now and then. But I've pretty much been sticking to that country music playlist, which I've enjoyed because it was like really just like a reason for me to dive back into music that I was listening to and to dive into artists that I hadn't fully explored. So that's been it's been like fun to listen. I think I'm gonna have a really weird Apple Music rewind this year or replay or whatever it's called. It's going to be interesting.
This might be the first one for me that doesn't include Prince. Yeah.
Kind of
obviously the GOAT, but I don't really listen to him as much anymore.
I think there's just so much more to listen to.
There is. There's a lot more to listen to.
And like, this year I'll probably have a lot less like it'd probably be like almost no rap music. Just really haven't listened to much this whole year. So this will be the first time that like there might not be a single rapper I have more than 3 hours of.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy considering like I used to put up pretty solid numbers on some Apple Music replays, and like I was putting up some serious numbers on a couple people. And so this is a big shift. I will say Sabrina Carpenter's going to have some hours. She might have the most hours because she's just been consistently in the playlist.
Yeah. Still haven't actually listened to a single Sabrina Carpenter song.
Dude, I'm the guy if you need some recommendations.
Listen, when it comes to females or like guilty pleasures, which I guess you're not feeling guilty about liking Sabrina Carpenter,
it
but
is my guilty pleasure. It's my guilty pleasure music.
I'm big like SZA, Dua, Ariana. Like I genuinely love their music for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of odd though that I'm a fan of Sabrina Carpenter's music because I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, and there's so many parallels.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I maybe relate more to the age of Sabrina Carpenter. I think is maybe more it. Like Taylor Swift's in like her 30s. Sabrina Carpenter, I think, is like 24 or 25.
Damn, so I have a chance?
No. You don't have a chance. She is near your age. I also still really like Olivia Dean. She's one that I don't think many people even know of. Just randomly found her on like a random playlist I found on Apple Music. And I really like her music. It's very fun. I think it kind of almost, it's not as, trying to think of the word. It's not as dance music inspired as the instrumentals for Dua Lipa, but I think context, or like subject matter, is a little more down that path.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Gotcha. What's Nathan's question looking like?
Let's get into that question. It is interesting because like there is obvious answers, but there's also like fun answers. What is something you hope will be obsolete in 10 years?
What is something I hope will be obsolete?
Yeah.
World hunger? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. War? I don't know. That's like the easy part. That's the easy answers. Child soldiers, I hope will be obsolete in 10 years. Famine.
Yeah, famine.
Turmoil. Taxes.
What about the growing polarization in American politics? I hope that's obsolete in 10
we're getting
years.
Somewhere. Yeah, the standardization of the two-party system.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to have another. We shouldn't have to have a 9/11 to have a 9/12.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. Sorry if that was like too political, but like
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna roll with it.
Well, so 9/11, obviously, fucking horrible day in America. But 9/12 is like probably the last time. Yeah, patriotism and togetherness. Because
I got you.
Patriotism, unfortunately, has a negative connotation, I feel like, in today's society. But I just wish that people liked each other more.
Yeah, that's true. Fun answers. What do I hope will be obsolete in 10 years? The Phillies as an organization.
Yeah, the Mets.
Saints.
Pete Alonso,
yeah. Oh, he'll be way out of the league 10 years from now.
Yeah,
he'll be hitting bombs in the KBO.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. Pedophiles.
That's a good shout.
There we go.
Rapists.
Yep. We're getting somewhere. I guess.
Yeah.
Along those lines, young Philly.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Bad. It was right. Bad
guy.
Wander Franco.
Yep.
Bad
Wander
guy.
Franco. Make sure he's obsolete for sure. Who's somebody I just don't like? James Franklin, the coach of Penn State.
Yeah.
I just don't like him.
What about hurricanes?
Yeah, hurricanes, bad. Natural disasters. Let's go all encompassing.
Yeah, natural disasters.
Nathan, this is like a brutal question. I don't know where to go with this. Mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms.
I don't either.
There we go. I think fungi are like relatively important to like ecosystems, though.
Yeah, maybe global they warming. All be obsolete.
There we go.
Yeah,
global warming. Yeah, dude, I'm grasping for straws. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say. Lincoln Riley.
What?
It's just Lincoln Riley, the coach of USC.
Oh, I thought you said Lakin Riley.
Oh,
I was like,
no.
Oh, my bad. Woo wee.
Yeah, no, Lincoln, like the logs.
Lincoln Riley, yes. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I don't want people to think I said that. That's whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely not that.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's a hot one. I don't care. I really don't.
Really?
Maybe I started caring.
Yes. That's.
I don't.
Yeah.
Look, I can concede that. I know enough people that I respect that like her music. I'll let it live. It's not my cup of tea. I listen to like all the other artists they like. So
yeah,
I think that's fine. Trying to think. Anybody, anything we're missing? Communism, terrorism. A lot of those isms are probably ones that should be obsolete.
Aneurysms?
Yep, aneurysms. Different kind of ism, but I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any more. It's a brutal question.
Yeah. I hope that was fun to listen to.
I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't.
Yeah.
Look, shout out to the diehards that are listening right now. It's probably just Nathan. I hope you enjoyed how painful that conversation was.
These are the guys that are subscribed.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's why there's nobody listening right now except Nathan. You guys all need to subscribe. If you are actually still here and you're not subscribed, you might have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, if you went through all of this, especially that question, and weren't like, damn, I really like these guys, I should probably subscribe. If you hadn't realized it yet, dude, take a hint.
Imagine sitting in traffic listening to that question.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Nathan. You're typically on it, but that was a rare miss.
I'm not gonna lie, I had fun with it, but it may have not been entertaining. So
no, it was just too. We could have been like, oh, I want there to be no more fucking juicy fruit gum, but we weren't. Yeah, child. Like I don't want hunger. I don't know. That's a difficult question.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to the diehards that are still listening. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Turn on the post notifications. Follow us on Instagram. You know the deal there. Join the Second Short subreddit so that we don't have to go through that again. r/2nd A&D short. Luke, thank you once again for joining me. At some point we need to get a count on how many episodes you've been on.
Yeah, it's been a lot at this point. I'm putting on my little Yankees cap for the game tonight.
Because you've been on probably, especially with the amount of times you've covered for Colin, you're probably at like half at least. Half of the episodes of Second Short.
Yeah, and it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, well,
love this.
Like we said, we're under a month away from episode 200 as well as the 2-year anniversary of Second Short. So, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Obviously, I already told you to subscribe. If you're a podcast listener, shout out to the podcast listeners as well. Make sure you rate 5 stars. Give us a follow on the podcast platforms. And Luke, anything for the people before we get out of here?
Go Yankees.
All right.
I got. Oh, wait. And I really hope the Yankees win the World Series because Grayson said that he was going to suspend me. What I think I just might take a vacation. My team won the World Series, and I get the day off. 2 days off.
You get 2 weeks off the pod if the Yankees win the World Series because I need you to be back to earth by the time you come back.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to pull me down if that happens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How are we going to get through an hour of NFL coverage if you're just sitting here just being like I'm like, oh man, who's going to win? The Bengals or the Ravens? And you're just like, the Yankees.
Yeah.
Dude. Anthony Volpe. I'm not putting up with that.
No, I don't blame you. And dude, it's been so long since I've had one of my favorite teams win their championship.
Well, since I started this podcast, nothing.
Yeah. Right after the Braves won. Yeah, dude, I've been hungry for it, man. Those Ben and Bell Brown years were just way too painful. Way too painful.
Tell me about it.
But painful.
Tell me about painful years as an NFL fan. Painful things that will not stop being brought up at every potential chance.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately.
That's all. We're going to keep it under 2 hours today. Thank you guys for listening, liking, subscribing, watching, commenting, liking. I don't know. Comment your answer to that crazy question that Nathan gave us. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Me and Colin recapping this week in the NFL, all the MLB
I'll see y'all
games,
next week.
all the college football games. We'll see Luke next week. Catch you guys later. Peace.